There is a way some women move through the world that unsettles men deep inside. Not through force, not through distance, but through something far older and harder to deny. It is a presence that lives below words, below effort, a signal so steady it reveals anything that is not real around it. Men feel it right away, often before their mind can explain what is happening. Some feel drawn to it, like finding something familiar after a long time lost. Others pull back without thinking, sensing a reflection they are not prepared to face. That reaction tells you a great deal about where a man is in his own path toward becoming whole. What you are about to hear is not a list of techniques or clever strategies. This is not about influencing men or playing emotional games. This is about what naturally happens when a woman has moved through her own inner struggle and comes out holding only what is true to her. Much psychological work has focused on the process of becoming yourself. A slow, often uncomfortable separation from expectations, family patterns, and social conditioning that try to shape you into something you are not. When a woman moves even partway through this process, her relationships change completely. She no longer absorbs other people's projections without noticing. She reflects them back with calm clarity. She no longer twists herself to keep a connection that costs her integrity. She responds from her center, or she does not respond at all. The idea here is simple, but it runs deep. By the end of this, you will understand the unseen structure behind how women who operate at a higher level relate to masculine energy. You will see why their behavior can seem cold, distant, or overly selective to those who have not done their inner work. And you may recognize with a sense of relief that if you have been called difficult for having boundaries, too intense for your honesty, or intimidating for your self-respect, you are not damaged. You are awake. And waking up always unsettles those who are committed to staying asleep. One clear pattern in how these women interact with men is their refusal to play emotional games. A man enters her space testing, pushing gently for weak spots through small provocations, created distance, quiet criticisms meant to shake her confidence. He stirs minor drama to see if she will pursue him, keeps things unclear to see if she will demand answers, pulls affection away to check if she will beg for it. Most of the time, these are not planned moves. They come from old wounds, fear of being open, a need to control closeness before it can cause pain. An unconscious masculine energy works through power patterns learned early and repeated again and again until someone stops the cycle. When a man has not faced his hidden fears, his sense of not being enough, his fear of true closeness, those ignored parts show up as control, testing, and manipulation. He does not decide to play games. He simply acts from old programming, repeating what feels familiar even when it hurts. A woman who has faced her own shadows recognizes this quickly because she has seen these patterns in herself and chosen a different path. She does not engage, not because she lacks emotion, not because she avoids conflict, but because she sees the shape of the game before it fully appears. Every psychological game needs both sides to agree to play. The victim needs an oppressor. The rescuer needs someone to save. The moment one person refuses their role, the whole system falls apart. When she does not chase, does not over-explain, does not prove her worth through effort, the man is left alone with his own projection. He is forced to see what he was doing, and that can be too much for someone who is not ready to look inward. This is not silent treatment, not a withdrawal meant to punish or control. What she practices is something else entirely: the protection of her life energy. After years, sometimes many years, of giving herself to dynamics based on ego, manipulation, or unhealed pain, she understands that her energy is limited and valuable. To spend it on situations that diminish her is a betrayal of herself. So she watches. She listens beneath the words. And when she senses a situation that would require her to abandon herself to keep it alive, she steps back. no drama, no long explanations, just space. Men often read this as coldness. They call her difficult, closed off, emotionally distant. What they are really meeting is a careful use of energy, a wise choice of where to invest herself. She gives only where there is real balance, where both people are nourished instead of one being drained for the other. This is not selfishness. This is self-rule. And self-rule in women is deeply unsettling to men who were taught that sacrifice equals love. You have probably felt this change in yourself. The day you stopped repeating your boundaries to someone who kept ignoring them. The moment you stopped defending your feelings to someone who wanted to dismiss them. The quiet shift when your silence taught a lesson your words never could. There is a certain freedom in realizing that if someone truly wants to understand you, they will. And if they do not, no amount of explanation will make them care. A woman who operates at this level speaks her truth once, clearly, and then lets the other person's response show who they really are. Under this refusal to play games is something even more unsettling for unconscious men, the way she chooses. She does not question, does not test, does not set traps to see if a man qualifies. She observes, not his words, but his actions. Not what he promises, but what he repeats. Not who he could become, but who he is right now. Jung often spoke about the intelligence of the unconscious, a quiet knowing that senses truth long before the thinking mind can put it into words. A woman who has done deep work with her own shadow, who has faced and accepted the parts of herself she once avoided, develops a sharp ability to read energy that almost feels unreal. Her body senses alignment or misalignment before her mind can explain it. A man's words may say one thing, while his energy tells a different story. He speaks about stability while his actions reveal disorder. He talks about being emotionally present while staying guarded at his core. She does not need proof or logical arguments. Her nervous system feels the mismatch right away. And once she feels it, she believes it. This is where many women lose their way, ignoring their inner signal, giving one more chance, trusting who someone could become instead of who they are, choosing hope instead of clear information. A woman who has claimed her wholeness has made this mistake enough times to finally listen to herself. So when a man approaches carrying unresolved wounds from his relationship with his mother, placing his need for approval care, or emotional saving onto her, she recognizes it immediately and refuses the role. Jung's idea of the mother complex, especially in its unhealthy form, points to the unconscious belief that the feminine exists mainly to serve, calm, and sacrifice for the masculine. A woman still caught in her own unhealed patterns will go along with this, reshaping herself to fit what seems to be required, slowly losing her boundaries. The integrated woman simply does not match this pattern. She is not available to mother-grown men. The man experiences this as rejection, when it is really just lack of alignment. She is not pushing him away. She is protecting her integrity. What comes next is often the most challenging part of being around her. She becomes a clear mirror. Jung described projection as the main way people avoid facing their own shadow. We place onto others what we refuse to see in ourselves. Anger, neediness, dishonesty, fragility. When a man projects these denied parts onto a woman who is still learning her limits, she often takes them in, believes they are hers to fix, feels responsible for his inner chaos. The woman operating at a higher level does not absorb. She reflects calm and clear like clean glass. If he arrives with aggression, she stays steady and he is forced to face his own violence. If he relies on manipulation, she responds plainly and he must see his own dishonesty. If he confuses emotional hunger with love, she stays whole and he must confront his own emptiness. This is not punishment or revenge. This is reality without softening or accommodation. And reality, when avoided for a lifetime, can feel cruel. Men still unconscious of their patterns will react with anger, calling her cold, unreachable, incapable of love. Men who are beginning to wake up will feel the discomfort, remain present instead of running, and eventually realize she has offered them something valuable. The mirror she holds is not the one he wants, which would show him an ideal version of himself. It is the mirror he needs, showing him exactly where growth is required. Most men seek reassurance, not change, and so most men walk away. You may recognize this moment in your own life when you stop pretending everything was fine, when you stop managing his feelings at the expense of your own truth, when you allowed yourself to exist without smoothing your edges to protect his pride, when you stopped performing ease and let him meet the real you. Some men rise to this challenge. Most withdraw, and over time you learn that both reactions are information. Neither is a failure. His inability to meet your wholeness is not proof that you are too much. It is proof of his limit. There is a certain presence she carries that many men mistake for emotional distance. She is fully present, attentive, engaged, yet not fused. She is open, receptive, and truly vulnerable, but not without boundaries. She loves deeply without losing herself. Jung made an important distinction between the ego, the social mask we wear, and the self, the deeper and timeless core of who we are. When a woman finds this center and begins to live from it, rather than from habit or conditioning, she no longer needs another person to feel complete. She can stand beside a man without asking him to fill an inner gap. This is what mature love looks like, not the emotional entanglement many people call intimacy. Men who have not developed this inner grounding, who still look to women to complete them, experience her wholeness as abandonment. They want to feel needed in ways that make them feel important. They want her to fall apart and place her vulnerability at their feet so they can feel like a savior. When she does not do this, when she stays sovereign even in closeness, they label her cold. What they are really feeling is the discomfort of their own inner division reflected back to them. She is not withholding love. She is offering love from fullness rather than need. And men used to women who love from fear or lack find this deeply unsettling. This is the point where the masculine must grow or leave. A woman operating at this level will not shrink herself to compensate for a man's inability to stand on his own. She will not betray her truth to soothe his insecurity. She stands firmly in her reality and offers a simple invitation. Meet me here or do not. If he has done enough inner work to arrive whole, the relationship becomes something sacred. If he cannot, she does not drain herself trying to pull him forward. She lets him go with compassion and continues on her path. When misalignment becomes clear, notice what happens. There is no dramatic argument, no endless analysis, no frantic attempt to force harmony through effort alone. She simply creates space not as a tactic, but as an honest response to truth. She does not leave to punish him. She leaves because her system can no longer live with the inner conflict. This is not a planned move. It happens naturally. Her body understands long before her mind can explain it. Something feels off. Being with him drains her instead of feeding her. Time together leaves her tired, not alive. Conversations start to feel like acting instead of truth. The distance between who she really is and who she has to pretend to be becomes too heavy to carry. So she moves. The psyche is always trying to bring us back into alignment, into wholeness, into truth. When you stay in situations that go against who you are, you begin to split inside. That split shows up as anxiety, depression, illness, or a deep feeling of being disconnected from life itself. This woman has learned to hear the quiet signals before they turn into pain she cannot ignore. When her body tightens around him, when she feels drained after seeing him, when she notices herself editing her words or shrinking her reactions just to keep peace, she listens. She does not explain it away. She treats the discomfort as information and responds to it. To him, it looks sudden. He says everything seemed fine and then she disappeared. What he does not see are the hundreds of small moments she noticed and carried quietly. The times her feelings were brushed aside. The moments his comfort mattered more than her truth. The patterns he promised to change and never did. The ways he leaned on her presence while giving little back. She did not leave without warning. She left after patience ran out, after chances were offered and wasted, after hope was respected and then finally released. By the time she walks away physically, the decision has been settled inside her for a long time. And this is what frightens men who are still asleep to themselves. She does not grieve the way women are expected to. She does not beg. She does not spiral into regret. She does not keep emotional doors open just in case he returns. She does grieve. She feels the loss. She honors what was real and allows herself to feel the pain of letting go. But she does not confuse loss with error. She knows that releasing what is misaligned is an act of deep self-respect, not cruelty. She keeps moving forward not because she feels nothing, because she trusts her inner knowing more than she fears being alone. This is the freedom that comes from becoming fully yourself. The moment when you stop betraying your truth just to belong. When you love deeply enough to release what cannot meet that love. When you trust your own perception more than applause, approval, or validation. Once you touch this freedom, you cannot forget it. Once you feel it, anything less starts to feel unbearable. So how does she deal with men? She doesn't manage them at all. She lives fully in her truth and lets them decide whether they can meet her there. She offers clarity, space, and zero tolerance for ongoing misalignment. She does not change men, she reveals them. Her presence shows them who they truly are, not who they pretend to be or hope to become. For many, that reflection is too uncomfortable. So they leave saying she is too intense, too demanding, too complicated. What they are really saying is, I am not ready for someone this honest. Real partnership is not two broken halves trying to become whole. It is two complete people choosing to walk together. She understands this deeply. She is not waiting for a man to complete her. She is not looking for rescue, repair, or validation. She has already done that work within herself. She is whole. From that place, she invites connection, not dependence. Partnership, not fusion. When a man arrives fragmented and expects her to fill his emptiness, she feels it immediately and steps back. This is not cruelty. It is clarity. Men who are ready experience her boundaries as invitations to grow. They feel the discomfort of her honesty and choose to look inward instead of running away. They see her refusal to shrink and feel encouraged to step into their own fullness. These men become true partners, equals, co-creators. They are not threatened by her strength because they are building their own. The relationship becomes too grounded, individuals choosing each other, not clinging together out of fear of being alone, but men who remain unconscious experience her presence as a threat. They try to reduce her to feel safe again. They call her selfish for having boundaries, cold for not carrying their emotional weight, arrogant for knowing her worth. She lets them have their stories, not because the words don't hurt, but because she understands those judgments come from their own unhealed places, not from her failure. She does not take their projections as truth. She sees them for what they are and keeps walking. You know if you are becoming this woman or if you already are. You remember the moment you stopped twisting yourself to make others comfortable. You remember the relief of leaving spaces that demanded self-betrayal as the price of belonging. You understand the quiet strength of choosing integrity, even when the world calls that choice selfish. This is not ego. This is alignment. And in a culture built on self-abandonment, alignment will always look like rebellion. Here is the truth underneath it all. She does not do anything to men. She simply lives in her authentic frequency and lets reality respond. The ones who are ready rise to meet her. the ones who are not fall away on their own. She learns, sometimes gently and sometimes through pain, that managing this process is not her job. Her only responsibility is to stay true to herself, honor her inner signal, and trust her direction. The connections meant for her arrive not because she chased, performed, or convinced, but because she stood firmly in her own light and allowed resonance to do the work. The deepest form of love is becoming so whole that you no longer need anyone to complete you, and then choosing relationship from that place of fullness instead of lack. This is what she lives. Not rejection of the masculine, but refusal to disappear inside it. Not fear of closeness, but insistence on intimacy that is real, mutual, and grounded in wholeness instead of shared wounds. She is not waiting to be saved. She already saved herself. Now she walks forward carrying a frequency that calls in only those willing to meet her there. If something in you feels seen rather than criticized by these words, understand this. Your clarity is not coldness. Your boundaries are not cruelty. Your standards are not arrogance. You are awake. And the world always resists those who refuse to stay asleep. Stay with this path. Keep going deeper. Speak your truth. Walk in alignment. You are not alone on this journey, even when it feels that way.